GM. Welcome to what's going to be another fantastic episode of DevNTell. So, if you didn't know, DevNTell is a 30-minute podcast held every week, allowing founders, hackers, and anyone in between an opportunity to come on the show and showcase what they built. And today, I'm ecstatic to welcome Dietrich von Behren, who is the co founder of Collectibles.com. So if you're not aware, Collectibles.com is an all-in-one tracking app for collectors to buy, sell, and organize sports and non-sports trading cards. So if you stick around for today's episode, you'll get to meet Dietrich, learn all about Collectibles.com, and how you can get started using it today. All right, let's get into it. GM, welcome to the show, Dietrich. Pleasure to have you on, man.
It is great to be here, and I love the intro, especially when you say you're ecstatic for a great show. That's promising ahead. Now I got
Indeed. I'm sure you will. No pressure. But I'm really excited for our audience and myself to learn about collectibles.com. I've been poking around personally on the website, so I have some questions kind of lined up for you. But before we get into all that, perhaps would you just like to give a introduction about yourself?
Sure. I'm Dietrich. I'm one of the co-founders of Collectibles.com. There are three co-founders in total. The other, my other two colleagues, Alex and Anas, they're actually based in Germany. It's a running joke. I mean, I use this all the time, but I say, despite my name, I'm the U.S. citizen. So I'm based in the U.S. But yeah, the three of us make the team. Yeah, I've got a background in entrepreneurship. I've been doing things for quite a while, but super excited to what we're building right now. I mean, Collectibles is an incredible space. I mean, it is driven truly by a passionate audience, and that's what makes it so exciting. It's eclectic, it's diverse. There's so many different things that people collect, which I'm sure we'll be diving into. But yeah.
And I guess from your background, I know there like collectibles.com has this blockchain angle to it as well. Just curious, like how did you kind of find yourself in the Web3 crypto space, and I guess how did you get into collectibles as well?
Yeah, well, look, truth be told, the crypto angle is something that is kind of coming in a later state. For us, we really started off as Web 2. And I think that's kind of important to note. We recognized early on, and actually, I joined later in the life stage of the process, of the company founding. The company started actually as Cardbase, a company called Cardbase, which was focused on card collectors, sports cards, Pokemon, and along the path there. I really got to give credit to Alex on this. He discovered a book by Chris Dixon talking about tokenomics and really how tokenomics can be a lever to drive user engagement and really provide a certain sense of participation, rewarding people for their participation, for the value creation of a company. And I think that was the catalyst that inspired us to get into crypto, really looking at what we could do to leverage that and to really create an experience that was unique for collectors.
Awesome. And
Hey,
I see.
Narb, not to interrupt, but I just want to say, because you said something about the background. I want to say that this is a real background here. So
Yeah.
it's and I was going to make a joke early on. Your background, my friend, is one that looks like, I don't know, post-apocalyptic, J.R. Tolkien Mordor. So
Indeed.
it's dark. I'm on the friendly side here.
Yeah.
So I'm a about myself. Maybe just to kind of throw that in. Everyone on the team is a collector. I am a vintage lunchbox collector. Which is what you see here. So I've got about 300 lunchboxes and counting. I actually brought one here along that I wanted to show you. Just kind of, this will tie in, but look at this here.
Look at that.
Yeah,
look at that beauty.
Oh,
Wow.
it is a beauty, right? And the thing about this is, it may not have the greatest value, but what I'm holding in my hands here, right, real object, is 1977. 1977. It really speaks, I think, to kind of the collector mentality of why people collect for different reasons. For me, it's a matter of nostalgia, and so anyway, I just want to point out about my background. Of course, this has become a lot more relevant now with the Netflix special about the Miracle on Ice. It's signed by all the team members. Makes it unique. I don't know absolutely, if it's a one of one. I don't think so, but for me as a collector, it's not always about value. It's about significance. It's about meaning. And I kind of like the miracle, right? Because it speaks to entrepreneurship, speaks to, the possibilities of doing anything. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that in there.
I was going to ask you about your background anyways. And yeah, I mean, the Olympics, I think, are starting today, Winter Olympics. So maybe there'll be another USA special around the corner. We'll see.
Yeah.
Um, But yeah, I mean, on the topic of collectibles itself, I mean, we've seen a really big kick in interest the last handful of years, and you mentioned Pokemon cards, and they're one of the bigger drivers, at least one of the biggest drivers that I've seen. Like, what do you think kind of attributes to this recent rise or re-rise in interest in this space?
Overall, or just Pokemon? Because if we're talking about Pokemon, I blame
Yeah.
Logan. Logan Logan Paul with his diamond studded Pokemon card. Look, I mean, joking aside, obviously he brought some incredible visibility to it, but whether it's Pokemon or any other collectible, there is a rise, Narb, for sure. And I think for any market, when you start seeing trends develop, you sort of have to be careful, like, and sort of think, is it a passing fad? Is it a trend that's limited or not? I truly believe that we're in a new area now, and where collectibles are being recognized as alternative assets. And I think that's the key. That's the primary answer to the question. Why is there a rise in interest around collectibles? Because of that. You're I said Jake Paul. Let's blame someone else too. I blame your fellow Canadian, Kevin O'Leary. I don't know if you've been following him. And of course, I say all of this very jokingly, but look, Kevin, also recognized that there's a huge opportunity. A lot of these sports cards, rare sports cards, are rising in value, and even in many cases eclipsing the S&P, the standard stock market. Because we often say, like, look, you can buy a gold bar, you can go buy some stocks, or if you can get your hands on a rare autographed Kobe jersey or some Michael Jordan sneakers, they have real value, right? I mean, they're being auctioned off by the likes of Sotheby's and Heritage. So again, kind of returning to the point, the collectibles market, I believe, is being driven by people recognizing that they are alternative assets, that there's tangible meaning and value to them. Plus, also there's a growing popularity. I think that people love what it represents. Because it's the intersection of fandom, of pop culture, history. Right, because if you're a fan of a certain sports team, the logical step is you want to have some things that represent the team. Those are collectibles.
Yeah,
I,
I 100% agree.
I could go on and on. In fact, let me give one more shout out as well to Gary V, who actually recently wrote something that was really significant, and I think kind of even pulls the string even further, and a call out to all brands and big businesses. And I'm paraphrasing here, so I'm sure he'd be much more eloquent in delivering this, but it's basically for brands to think about what they should be doing around collectible items themselves, right? Because it's a recognition that people fall in love with a brand, not necessarily a product. So if you go beyond, just product and sell, but really have things that people find endearing, that they want to put their arms around, literally and figuratively, you're probably in good shape. So there's a lot of drivers that are, pointing in the right direction, and I think just um, validating this space.
Oh yeah, I 100% agree. And I mean, it kind of shows in like those like 10,000 plus dollar like bags from big designers like Chanel or whomever. It's like
Yeah.
it's just a bag, but it has that prestige with that brand name on it that makes it so valuable, and I guess a collectible in itself. But I guess coming back in, I think this is a good segue. Why don't you give us your elevator pitch of what the collectibles.com platform is?
Elevator pitch. That sounds so salesy. I'm not. I won't give an elevator pitch. I will say more of like, why do we exist, right? And why should someone care? Uh, the foundation and the, I mean, the real premise for why we launched collectibles.com is, we recognized a couple of opportunities. That number one, there's no real community, centralized community for collectors. I mean, there's a lot of activity and, across different social platforms, and, huge respect. I mean, some of them are massive. uh but, really thinking about where is uh a true destination where, those that love to collect things can gather, interact with one another, learn about, their, what they collect, and kind of inspire each other. So that's one piece of it: community. The other is, it's utility. Kind of going back when I said that we, started off as card based, as a card management app. Um, people collect a lot more things than cards, and we like to say, the core four, as we see it, based on all of the data from our users: uh sports cards, or let's just say cards, which is sports cards and Pokemon TCG, comics, coins, and stamps. Those four are representative, probably a lion's share of what people collect globally. But, I mean, we talked about it before the show started, right? I mean, there's different areas, whether it's my lunch boxes, that's way down the list. But, there's sports memorabilia, historical memorabilia, entertainment memorabilia, sneakers are a big thing. One of our investors is a big sneakerhead. And so again, there's just, a lot of things that people collect. They need to be able to organize, manage, track, and value. So that utility, is something that I think is significant to what we bring to the table, helping create order. So that's again, that's the utility. And there's a commerce piece as well. You mentioned earlier in the show, about, trading, buying and selling. I have to correct you there. We actually do not have that, as of yet. That will I'm guessing we'll probably talk about this later, about what we're going to do, later this year. But, no, we operate, as a collection management service. It's like a SaaS. That's the utility piece. It's top of the funnel for our business, because we get incredible insights, into what people are collecting, what's popular, what's most valuable. We can start, connecting things, right? Surfacing content that's more relevant, personalizing, and really kind of creating an ecosystem. So that's, clearly not an elevator pitch. That's more like falling down the stairs of an answer. But, I just, there's a lot to unpack, and I just, it really is not about doing the pitch here. It's more of just understand. I want, people to understand that if they're a collector, there's a lot to find. And, just to give you a couple of recent sizzle numbers, we've got over 30 million items within our collection management, representing, north of $10 billion in terms of aggregate value. Okay, so sizzle numbers. But why it's meaningful is, how it plays into how we're going to develop our product. More on that. But for users, it's a ton of fun. You can go to collectibles.com and, type in anything, and you may be surprised in what you'll find. I'll leave it at that, and I encourage people to do that.
Yeah, the people definitely should, and I love the in depth that you went into.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly better than a high level pitch. And I guess for our audience today who are watching, like say for example, like I had like a rare, I don't know, Pokemon card, a Charizard, say, and
Mhm.
I want to onboard onto the collectibles.com app.
Yeah.
Um, what I guess can you walk us through the process of like what a person can do or how they would go about bringing their collection
Yeah,
onto the platform?
sure. Despite the name collectibles.com, we are not just a website, but we also provide mobile apps, so iOS and Android. That is really the best experience for for the use case. In terms of onboarding, one thing that we did last year, because we've been iterating, and just to kind of step back and say a couple of things, if I may, um, we are one of well, actually, we are the only startup in the collectibles space backed by Peter Thiel. Okay, I want to say that. Because a lot of people are always asking, like, who's behind us, and there's certain, your early question about how did we get into crypto and Web3 and all the rest. Initial ideas early on were to be focused on Web3, but we've grown, right, since that. But I mentioned the thing about data is because that is the underlying piece that makes the experience the best. So we've spent a number of years. We're now celebrating our fourth year. So we're even though we're still early stage, okay, or we'll always be early stage, but we've invested a lot and we've grown a lot. Almost 2 million users right now. Uh, the data that we have for cards, sports cards and Pokemon is significant. So what you can do is, you download the app. You'll load up the ability to scan, what we call scan, but you just take a photo of any object, NARB. And so whether it's your Pokemon card or anything in the house, there's some real significance because if we recognize that it's not your Pokemon card, then we switch to an AI layer, and AI will then do image recognition and try to identify as best as it can what you have. And so, for a lot of users, I mean, it's funny. We've actually even found what we call passive collectors, right? Like those that aren't actively, looking for things, but and acquiring things, but have items of value that they may not even know. So, specific to your answer, your Pokemon card, you would download the app, fire it up, take a photo. It'll scan, recognize, match it to our card catalog, and add it to your profile, where you can then your profile is sort of like an online portfolio. You have it on display. You can share that with people. People can see it if you want. If you want to be seen, you have the option to turn it off. But alternatively, if you've got other things, our app almost turns users into treasure hunters. That's kind of the expression that we use, because you can take this app anywhere, right? Whether it's grandma and grandpa's attic, see in the garage what might be there, or take it to a antique shop or a garage sale. Again, disclaimer: AI is not yet perfect, but it's still delivers quite a bit of delight, our magic moment, as we call it, when it does reveal what it may be.
Interesting, interesting, and yeah, indeed, AI is not perfect, but it's certainly taken quite the step this last little bit. Just curious, when you scan, so say for example the item, like say like the jersey in the back there, since it has
Mhm.
all these autographs on it,
Yeah.
is the AI able to detect like the authenticity of the autographs and like identify who the signatures are from?
That that is a great question, and
Yeah.
the answer is no. There's nothing that you. I mean, I would argue, because there are some out there that are in fact talking about and are building certain. They're focusing on grading and trying to do competing with grading companies and applying scanning. I think it's cool. I do think it's a great idea, but let's just call it. It would be uh, a a lesser grade. It would not be authenticated, because just like you could ask me, Narb, hey, if you take a photo of a diamond ring, can it authenticate it? right? Yeah,
Fair enough. Yeah.
unless you got the green visor on and the microscope and all of that, you're really, a photo's not going to cut it. And the same would be for, the answer to your question. What AI would do, if I took a photo of it, standing a little bit away from it, it would recognize, oh, Miracle 80. It would be smart enough to go, this is a jersey representative of Miracle on Ice that includes uh, autographs. And our AI function will do that. This is kind of how it'll do it, because not only will it recognize the object, but it'll give you like a little bit of history and synopsis to the extent that it can. So it's cool. And now, I mean, I haven't tested it, so you put me on the spot. But if I were to zoom in and start taking photos of the individual autographs, it may recognize, who these individuals are. But specific to the point of authentication, no, it would have to be, done by an actual, authenticator.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough, fair enough. I just, yeah, the gears started to turn
Yeah,
as you were kind of explaining. So,
love it. I love it.
yeah. um, and I guess you mentioned it that there isn't really any other kind of platform like collectibles.com out there. I guess, what would you say is kind of like the thing that sets it apart from things that may come a little close to it, or anybody that might be running, say, like a NFT equivalent of this platform?
Mm, okay. Let, let me separate them, because the
Yeah,
NFT is the crypto side of it, and I'll speak to that momentarily. But to be fair, there are other apps out there that will do collection management. Some of them, really good. We always like to say we respect all competition. It's healthy for the market, and it pushes everyone to do better for customers. Uh, the others out there are really focused exclusively on cards. Many of them just sports cards, because in terms of like velocity, I mean, just, it may be an obvious statement here, but sports card collectors, they go deep, right? They go deep. You've got guys that'll collect thousands, tens of thousands. I mean, I think one of the biggest accounts that we've got just for on collectibles.com for cards alone, I think is north of 50,000. Like, these guys really, really collect a lot. I'm not gonna have 1,000 lunch boxes. It's just, where would you put them? But I to what makes us different, we are the only one that brings together a comprehensive solution that is integrated. So, again, I like to say we started off core business focusing on sports cards and TCG. We built a robust data set, I'd say industry leading data set to power that. And we're going on to the other verticals, or remember the core four: comics, coins, and stamps. But beyond that, it is really the only place where you can come, you can scan, take a photo of anything that you own, any object, any curiosity. It'll get added to your profile. At the same time, you are in a integrated community with others that you can chat with. You can find all sorts of things, and I think that is certainly one of the value props, and what makes collectibles.com a unique destination.
yeah, yeah, and well said, well said.
Mm.
Yeah, there's something to be said about the community of collectors. Yeah, and I've seen it. Like, I've seen some people with some pretty big hockey card collections, and
Uh,
yeah, they do indeed go pretty deep. Um, and I guess you've touched on it throughout the session today. But I guess, just kind of summarizing, like, what would you say is collectible.com's North Star vision? It's been around, like you said, for 4 years. Guys built this great community. People can scan and upload. I guess this year and going into perhaps the next 5 years, what in your mind is kind of the vision of how the platform will evolve?
yeah. That is a good question, and I'll have to answer it with some discretion, because some things are proprietary, as one has to say when building, but and having a startup. But I'll answer it with also picking up something that I neglected from from the last question, because you asked me, and you said NFTs, and I said I'll get to it, and I did, and I forgot it. But I was just looking down at the comments here, and someone wrote provenance is important, and I go, okay, that very good point. Right. One of the things that we're going to be looking to add on to is the ability to include NFTs in your collection management. Okay. So, actually, let me take a couple of steps back. I mean, I'm all over the place here. Indulge me on this. But when you asked about products and what do we do, one of the things that we did launch, or actually a question about a rise in interest in sport in Pokemon, and I'd say one of them is the repack space. So I don't know if you're familiar with that. The mystery box, the mystery pack where you open packs, you don't know what's inside of them, and it's let's say it appeals to the crypto crowd very much. So there's some big players out there. We launched a product as well, a gaming product. We call it Repacks. You'll find it on collectibles.com. Repacks with a Z. And it's a game of chance, and it's a lot of excitement around it. Pokemon cards are by far the most popular. Okay, industry wide, these games of chance, these repacks have been driving tremendous appetite, tremendous interest, tremendous sales. Right? I mean, it's been really accelerating that. So going all the way back to the front of our conversation, this is one of the things. Since we launched it, we were actually in Abu Dhabi for Solana Breakpoint. Solana is one of our investors, strategic investors from early on. So we put repacks on chain. Now every pack, every card within a pack has a twin NFT. Right? This is just kind of operationally how it works. We now want to kind of look further about, we recognize there's a lot of, folks that have NFT collectibles. And so one of the things on the roadmap is to integrate the ability to add your NFTs to our collection management as well. That's one thing that we haven't done. So that's one thing worth noting. The reason I saw about the provenance, I mean, this is almost like a far greater question about Web3, blockchain, crypto in general, how we see it. I think some of that language is going to go away. To be honest, Narb, right? Like, 2-3 years ago, Web3 was a hot term, right? It was like a category. You invested against that because you're going to build in Web3. I think we've gotten to the point now where, honestly, number one, it's a recognition that traditional collectors, 99% of them, don't care, don't know, don't want to know, right? It's almost like I thought about this earlier because I wanted to make the point. It's sort of like when you're building a house, when you're building any product, but when you're building a house, right? It's like the plumbing in a house. I think we can all agree that blockchain is infrastructure, right? And just like plumbing in a house where makes things work, or electricity, right? It gets covered up. It's behind the wall. So in many ways, I'd say I'd carry this metaphor is that blockchain is behind the interface. It's going to be the rails, the operational rails, and so that's really how we're viewing it. We want to integrate in ways that are frictionless, seamless to the consumer, but now kind of getting to the comment that someone made there. One of the biggest things in collectibles when it comes to commerce is the ability to trust what you're getting isn't counterfeit. Who's selling it? Has it been traded before? This is where blockchain is going to make a huge difference. To that point of provenance, we'll be able to track items and give greater trust and transparency to consumers. So now, what are we looking at for this year? We're going to be rolling out a marketplace. It's not easy. Any developer, any folks that are out there building, the builders, the entrepreneurs, they know creating a marketplace is not trivial. It's not an easy task. You need both sides of the table. You need the buyers and the sellers. So we kind of made the conscious decision early on, like it would be foolhardy if we would have done it 3 years ago because we didn't have the scale. So we focused on the utility, the collection management. And as I said, right, that's the top of the funnel. It brought it in with 30 million items under management right now. We get a lot of consumer signals, a lot of input from our users saying, "Come on, let's do this." Right now they're already using like our feed and our community and our DMs to trade with each other. We know this is going on, but that's cool. But one of the big things that we're going to do is unlock a marketplace. And one of the observations here is that there's a lot of opportunity because actually the majority of our items are off market, what we call off market items, because you're not really posting to your collection on collectibles.com if you're wanting to sell it, because it's not there. You'd be selling, you'd be posting it elsewhere. So what that shows for us is that those users that we have that pay for our service are those that have great items that they just want to track, manage, and value. But you know what? Hey, start connecting people. There may be some great treasures to be found and offers to be made.
That's super exciting to hear, and yeah, I guess a bit of alpha for our folks tuning in today. So you'll definitely want to got up and running with that collectibles.com account and kind of prep yourself for what's coming. And I guess on that topic, as looking at the time, what's the best way for people to keep up to date with all things collectibles.com? I guess join a community. What's the best way?
To learn about what we're doing. Um,
Indeed.
yeah, well, start an account. It's free. It's free to start an account and free to play around with it. We're sort of it operates as a freemium. You can definitely take it for a test drive, upload a number of items. Once you reach a certain threshold, then you got to pay. Not to explore it, but if you want to build out a robust collection, there's a price for that, monthly or annually. But yeah, the account is free. Encourage everyone to sign up. We've got newsletters, we've got updates, and of course you track what we're doing on X as well.
Amazing. And yeah, all that information will be in the description of the podcast you are watching or listening to today. And with that, Dietrich, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to come chat with us. I really enjoyed our conversation. I hope you did too. And yeah, really looking forward to seeing collectibles.com continue to evolve here, and hope the audience starts to upload their collections today or over the weekend.
Yeah, I'll be looking for yours, Narb.
Indeed. Yeah, for sure. I actually have a bunch of magic cards that I have to get out of or find in my closet. So maybe.
You got any One Piece in your stash? Have you gone there yet?
I don't recall. It's been a while since I've looked, but it might be.
I hear that's the hot new thing.
Indeed. Indeed. Um, awesome. And yeah, I guess with that, I just want to wish everybody a very happy weekend, happy Friday, wherever you may be,
Yeah.
and we'll catch you back here next week for another great episode of
Happy Friday and happy collecting.
Happy collecting. Well said. All right, all. Have a good one.
Cheers.
Cheers.